Well, hey there, crypto friends. Thanks again for joining me. Today I have a special guest on the channel. Please welcome Tino from the Metaverse Travel Agency. What's going on, Tino?
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me here, man. I'm excited to explain you a bit more about the MTA and where we're going with this project, man.
The MTA, not it's the Metaverse Travel Agency, not the other MTA you guys that may be familiar with, right? Like we talked a second about that, and I was like, okay, it sticks in my mind. But it sticks in my mind, so that's good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we have some name issues there with the Metropolitan Transport Authority from New York, but yeah, this is completely different. This is a metaverse project.
Yeah, I love it. So, before we jump into what this project is all about, can I just hear? Let's just tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you came to found this project.
Great. All right. So yeah, I've been in the crypto space since 2015. You know, from an investment perspective, investing in different protocols, participating in ICOs, running masternodes, and a bunch of other weird stuff. Basically, I wanted to learn more about the space, so I needed to be invested in order to kind of explore it, right? So that's how I fell into the space. And when NFTs came up, right, late last year, I started exploring with NFTs, and I just fell in love with them. I decided to jump in and create something special, right? And that's how I ended up here. I founded Collective, which is a tech and creative studio specializing in one-of-a-kind NFTs projects. We have some other brands that we're working for, and this is our first kind of stance in this space. It's a proprietary project, our little baby that we're launching.
The first step, yeah, okay.
Yeah, the first step, exactly.
I love it, man. Well, yeah. So, yeah, you've definitely been in the space, for quite some time here. I got in 2013, so same thing. Just kind of, seeing the entire, crypto space evolve, and then we get some really super interesting things over time. NFTs, gaming, all kinds of stuff coming. I'm glad that inspired you to kind of want to do something here. Now, let's talk a little bit about the MTA, the Metaverse Travel Agency here. And why this project is actually kind of unique in comparison to a lot of other projects, because we've seen a big explosion in NFTs, in particular on Ethereum, where there's a lot of generative avatar things going on, and a lot of them are just some of them have some cool features, some utility, which I love. I love having an NFT with utility, and not everyone gets that. So but I think you guys do. So tell us a little bit about the MTA and what that means.
Perfect. I'm glad to explain a bit more about it. And first things first, right? There would be no project without the amazing team behind it. So a shout out to my crew, Dante, Emiliano, Khaled, and Benja, who we have all pushed really hard to make this project what it is today and push it forward, right? So for this project, we wanted to innovate as much as we could and give the space a break from what you were just saying, right? A profile picture rhetoric that was
give us a break. Thank you, Tino. Thank you, brother.
Thank you for acknowledging that, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in that front, right? This is not just another NFT drop, right? This is a long-term metaverse project. So our vision is that through our NFTs, which like you mentioned, they're 3D modeled wearables programmatically generated with over 100 traits. The idea is that we will create the first metaverse agnostic community that would live both in Decentraland and in Sandbox, right? To begin with. And our mission is basically to explore, build, and expand the metaverse and become a force of growth within the virtual realm. And exploring identity across borders and platforms, right? So our wearables can be used by any avatar in the metaverse. And the token itself, like you were saying, utility, right? It doubles as a key that can open a variety of doors and digital experiences and adventures, right? So we're really, really excited to communicate this and get the word out and getting people involved.
Right on. So you are essentially creating these NFTs which represent wearables in multiple metaverses, And right now, you guys are kind of going to be starting off, from what I've seen, with the Sandbox and Decentraland, right? So those are going to be the two that you guys will be able to have these wearables in. But when you do this NFT drop, the wearables are not going to be ready. They're going to be like down the line, right? So you're going to get the NFT, and that'll be kind of your ticket to be able to get those things and redeem them in some sort of way right down the line. Do you guys have a process for that, and how you go about creating those assets from the original assets, right? Because they're going to be generative, so they're going to generate. Then you have a set of these, 10,000. What was it? 10,101 and one. Yeah, like 10,101. Yeah, so you have those, and so that's quite a bit of unique assets to generate. Do you guys have a process for doing that, and then being able to then port them over to those two different metaverses, because they're pretty different in their look and build of how those things are done?
Yeah, no, 100%. And what you said is right? The NFT itself is not the wearable that you will use in these metaverses, but it's your ticket to claim those wearables, right? So we're working with both teams, right? Decentraland and Sandbox. And I think it's going to be one of the first projects to include the whole collection from the get-go, right? We had this option at the beginning when speaking with Decentraland to do one or two, right?
Sure.
But we wanted to have the whole collection there ready, and we're planning on having the entire collection on both metaverses by the end of the year. So I think that's pretty big.
Yeah, that's a great goal. So yeah, because that's one of those big timing things that people want to know. Like, it's great we got the NFT, but the utility for that NFT is really when we want to know, like, when is that? When do we get that? Because I want to be able to slap that bad boy on my head inside a DCL and go to all my meetups there and go play some of my favorite games with like a sweet ass helmet, a la Daft Punk style, right? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. We'll have some styles like that and that get generated, but I mean, I would love to see something like that and be able to wear them. So definitely coming later this year. Do you guys have artists that are working separately in each one of those that will be able to kind of build those, or is there some sort of way that you can kind of like programmatically generate those assets for each one, or how does that kind of work?
Yeah, I mean, so our assets are programmatically generated, but in order to translate that to a wearable in Decentraland, say, we have to go one by one.
One by one, yeah, okay.
Because the amount of polygon limits, it's completely different to the high quality assets that we're creating, right? The limit in Decentraland is 1,500 polygons. So yeah, we need to drop down and basically we have the 3D models from the get-go, right? So the process basically involves dropping down the polygon count to 1,500, and then usually when you go through that process, there's a lot of tweaking to do asset by asset, right? Adjusting textures, adjusting the format of the helmet, right? So that's it's gonna take some time, but we're aiming by the end of the year we'll have them already in the center and ready to go. And of course, I mean, in Sandbox, it's completely different aesthetic, right? It's a voxel aesthetic.
Voxel aesthetic, yeah.
So that would have to be done kind of one by one, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're working with both teams to make all of that happen in time and in form.
Awesome. Well, I mean, at least you have the 3D format of these helmets already ready to go, because that makes it a lot easier to, like you said, for Decentraland, you can drop a lot of the actual polygons in it, and then you theoretically should be able to drop that into Vox Edit and be able to like translate it in there using the model. So I mean, but then it comes a lot of tweaks and things like you said, where you have to kind of just make them look good in that format. You can't just do a one-to-one translation like that. So that makes a lot of sense there. So beyond the kind of utility you get obviously as a wearable, which I think is one of the coolest things when you look at wearables in particular, in a lot of like MMO games or kind of like like Second Life style games, right? I mean, wearables are huge. They already in Decentraland, they're huge. They're already becoming huge in Sandbox. I know they will be there because that is the way that you customize your avatar and your look. And everyone wants to have a little bit of customization. No one wants to look generic. So the more of these types of things, where they're very unique and a lot of people have access to these things, I think makes a lot of sense. So it's really cool the way you guys are going about this, and a generative wearable, because I really haven't seen anything like that in the space.
Yeah, I've tried to kind of research if there was someone that did it before us. I couldn't find it, but I don't
think
want
so,
to claim that title, you know.
Yeah, no, I know. Everyone's like, "Oh, we're the first. We're the first to do this." I just did that. I just did that last week. I'm like, I'm the first person ever to do this live stream NFT interactive, and I am. I swear I am. But you never know out there. Like someone has done something else, and it happens often. But I do think like I keep pretty good tabs on things. I do think this is the very first one I've ever seen like this. So I like that aspect of it, and that it's something that can be translated. And you guys are open to like other metaverses as well. Have you looked at any other metaverses that are already established that some of these assets might translate well to?
So, for example, what like crypto voxels and the
Somnium Space, right? There's and then there's some other smaller ones that have kind of popped up and stuff too that are starting to get a little bit big. There's a really big one on Wax called the Uplift. I don't know if you know the Uplift. That's another really big one, and that's Minecraft. It's Minecraft based. So I don't know exactly how that would particularly work, but square helmet with just the sides on it, like.
So I mean, the long-term vision for this project, right, is to be metaverse agnostic. So we want to have integration in all of the metaverses. We don't want to leave any relevant metaverse behind, and we're starting with the two that we consider pretty big and prominent, and from a user base perspective, also. Really huge, right? So this is the first step into this, and it's good, not like other projects that look at partnering in the future. We wanted to launch this straight up, right, and work on inputting the whole collection in two major metaverses from the get-go. Of course, looking to implement and integrate to other metaverses in the future. That's in the roadmap. That's the plan, right?
I love it. Yeah, I mean, and that makes sense. You want to make sure you establish yourself two of the biggest metaverses out there, and then you can kind of add more as you go. Exactly. Now, when it comes to some of the other things that you have, that the utility for these NFTs, I know that you guys have a couple of things going on. There's some hints of a scavenger right here, being able to unlock some of the things. So tell us about that real quick.
Great. I mean, so in terms of utility for the Meta helmet. Well, first, like we just said, right, it's a metaverse-ready asset that will be deployable in these two metaverses, which bridges platforms to become, one consistent borderless identity, an identity that will be shared with other community members and fellow metanauts. And these metanauts can be any avatar that they want, right? Any avatar at all, right? And so another cool feature in terms of utility. I cannot wait our community to explore this feature. We call it the quantum machine. This will basically allow you to display other NFTs that you own on the back of the helmet. There's a tiny screen located in the back of the helmet. And basically that feature makes this asset fully customizable and kind of the ultimate flex, right?
Ultimate flex.
Something different, right? On top of that, in terms of utility, we're developing exclusive content, which will be NFT gated, containing the 3D files for the asset, along with PNGs for use in social, etc. Along with clues for the next scavenger hunt, which will happen in the metaverse, and an audiovisual experience, which we here call it the 8D experience. It's meant to be watched with your eyes closed and with headphones. It's to create kind of situational awareness. Yeah, it's cool. Gonna be pretty cool. I think our community will love it. And one more thing, last but not least, right? Potentially my favorite part of this project, and why I see a lot of long-term value with this last feature that I'm going to mention right now. We're creating a meta gig portal in all our HQs across the metaverse, right? This portal will allow basically any user or landowner to post bounties or jobs for the MTA community to tap into, kind of like an Indeed for the metaverse. So this will give our community an opportunity to develop their metaverse skills and put them to work, with a monetary incentive behind it, which I think it's pretty cool, right? Hasn't been done.
Interesting feature, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's something I can definitely see working, especially having a headquarters in all these different places. Kind of a good way to bring your community together and be able to extract some value and help each other. I think that's pretty nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow. So that's great. All right, Tina. Well, thank you so much for joining me, man, and talking a little bit about the MTA, the Metaverse Travel Agency here, and your guys' drop that's coming up, and all the utility behind these. What is the date, real quick, again? That the drop is going down.
The drop is going down the 7th of October.
7th.
7th. So in around 9 days.
Perfect.
We were minting. We're dropping 10,101 Meta helmets. They're going to be priced at 0.10101 Ethereum, which, I don't know if you can tell, we like binary here.
Yeah.
Big fanatics of the number 21, kind of a unifying factor along, this project. And so we're excited. We're excited to get people involved. And also we have some really special announcements and things coming soon, like our 3D motion trailer and some other cool things that I think the next scavenger hunt as well, which it's going to be nuts.
Awesome, man.
So excited to be here, excited for our community to explore, more about what's coming.
Well, I'm looking forward to it because, like I said, this is something I have not really seen before, and I love a good wearable, so definitely going to be checking it out myself. We'll make sure we put all the links down in the description below for you guys, so you can also check out the MTA. That's all we have for today, folks. Till next time, stash that crypto, friends.